USMNT close out 2025 with a tough stretch of games starting tomorrow against Japan, and then in October the U.S. will face off against Ecuador and Australia, followed by Paraguay and Uruguay in mid-November. All of those teams sit in FIFA's top 30 outside of Paraguay. So a big test coming up for Mauricio Pochettino. Can he get a win against one of these teams in 2025? The confidence not too high right now, but time for our Xfinity fast track to victory as we look ahead to US-Japan coming up tomorrow and some of the biggest questions for that matchup, Darian. So at this point for the US, what does success look like for Poch in this group against Japan?
Success looks like some sort of game plan, this clear identity of here's how we're going to set up. I know the strengths of this nation. I know the strengths of the player pool that I have. Here's how we're going to set up and play. It might not be the prettiest football we've ever seen, but we're going to make it difficult for teams to beat us. And to me, that's sitting lower. I like the 3-back, looking to be more of a counter-attacking team and hit teams on the mouth and be very unsuspecting and have a good counter press. But if not, sit back. I think that to get the best out of these players, to get the best out of this team right now, especially with the time crunch that we're in, there has to be just some sort of foundation of, especially as a former player, of here's how we're going to play. I can plug and play if you're new to this camp, if you're brought in and you're a veteran on this team, you know exactly your role, you know exactly the principles of how to fit in. And I think that's why we saw such a poor performance for them against South Korea, is it just looked like so much disorganization and lack of confidence from even some of the stars on the team.
Yeah, cohesion can really do a lot for a group, Aaron. And you had touched on it, Darian just pointed it out, when the U.S. did switch to that back three, they looked a lot better. So do we expect to see Poch line this team up in that way from the jump?
I think we should see some sort of change. If the back three is a change, I would like it to be that. We looked more organized. Like you said, they play better on the counterattack. When they sit it a little bit deeper, try to break quickly. The U.S. did not look comfortable in possession against South Korea. They looked devoid of ideas. I would like to see a back three. I'd like to see them maybe try to break a little bit quicker instead of kind of just recycling the ball in midfield. That would be a welcome change for me.
Yeah, look, success looks like get a damn goal. Right? That's success. Start from there. Look, at the international level, we talk about a back three, a back four. You can play a back 10. I don't care. In the final third, this team right now, as a fan base and as people who have never watched soccer before, you want a team that is going to get goals. And against the upper echelon, and this is teams that are ranked in the top 25 of world football, you need to be more clinical in the final third. Imagine the difference now if we walk away from that game. Yes, the first 60 minutes, or 68 minutes, let's give it that looked a bit wasted until the changes were made tactically, until a striker that we'll get into in Flo Balogun came on the field. If we got a goal and it's 2-1, now we're talking with a bit more optimism than we have right now, where 100%. It feels like we're at ground zero trying to figure things out again.
Well said. Yeah, the bar is quite literally in the basement.
It's in hell.
Down basement in hell. Down deep.
Okay, well, let's go through the projected lineup for this match coming up tomorrow against Japan. And Lahoud, you're going to kick us off with the goalkeepers and who you think should get the nod.
Yeah, look, Matt Freese is the #1 goalkeeper right now. I think he's going to retain his spot, and I think you need someone who's good with his feet. He's decent with his feet, but he's a big game player. He's got great reflexes. Roman Celentano, he's been excellent for FC Cincinnati, and I owe him an apology because I had question marks in his rookie year whether he would be able to translate from the college game. Yeah, I don't get things right often, but this was one of them. And he's been excellent, I think, in time. Not his time to step up in that #1 spot, but in time, he could be a great backup to the U.S. men's national team. And Jonathan Klinsmann, we will see. This camp right now is not going to be it. That's why Matt Freese is my starter. If it ain't broke, especially his performance in the Gold Cup and penalties, and how important the goalkeeping position has been for the U.S. men's national team throughout the program, don't fix it. He's the guy.
It's the first time it feels like we have a little bit of security in the goalkeeper position. It's been in flux for a long time. For the longest time in the U.S. men's national team, that was our strongest position. And it's so weird to kind of have that flip and us be in question of, but Matt Freese for me is our keeper right now.
I'm interested to see who we have as a back four as well, because I think that is such a confidence booster when you know these are the strengths of my keeper. We know that this is how he can play out, what his weaknesses are. and then you can actually build in confidence.
Familiarity?
Especially
in a national team? That's crazy.
Yeah, well, he's got a great chance for his stock to go up, and every good goalkeeper has to have a good, I'm going to go back four, because I do not think that Poch is ready to shift to that back three or back five just yet. We would have seen it already as a consistent thing. We still might see it further forward, and I think when you look at all these players, Max Arfsten, I actually thought he was pretty good in possession.
I thought so too.
Much better than we've seen him consistently throughout the 90 minutes. Getting him, and I said this before in the preview, getting him timing when to go forward and when to be mindful of a Japanese side who are good on the counter. They're very lethal in pushing numbers forward. This is where it gets interesting. Tristan Blackman, it was a national team appearance to forget. He's a good MLS player. It's not his time yet. He's not going to make the roster from that performance. And so it leads me to this. You need the likes of a Chris Richards in there. Take the gloves off. Chris Richards is the anchor. He is the best center back we have right now.
One of the first names on the team sheet type thing.
And although Tim Ream didn't play well, and I still have question marks about Tim Ream in terms of how he's going to contribute long-term with the national team, Tim Ream is your best option as a left-sided center back. He has loads of experience. He brings leadership. And if you need someone to be a steadying presence and have that character and resilience, you need him in there. And of course, we're going to go on, I think Serginho Dest is another option there. But Alex Freeman, he's someone else who, when he came in later on, he's an option. But Serginho Dest, I like him, his experience there. But this back four, I mean, what do you guys think?
We talk about consistency, which we have very little of in this U.S. men's national team. Right here, this circle is what we have of consistency. This partnership between Ream and Richards, they understand each other so well. We know Ream doesn't have much pace, but anytime he steps up, Chris Richards will drop off and chase. We know Matt Freese has had that communication with Ream and Richards. We've seen it many, many times. That is our center back partnership for me moving forward. Serginho Dest, when he's healthy and fit, is a game changer when he is on
We need
form.
Bro to defend, though.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
it is 2025. We do need him to defend, but his strength we know is getting forward. And when he is on, he does defend well. He tackles, he tracks back. We need him to be the very best Serginho Dest he can be, and that's a complete player. Max Arfsten, I like what I've seen so far. I don't think that left back spot is locked down by any means, but this is a good back four for me. Back five.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I think center backs, clearly that's what should have been the starting center backs in the match against South Korea. And then with the outside backs, you said it well with Arfsten. I think even with Dest, it's the decision making in those positions that can be the Achilles heel when you play in a four back like this. So getting these players more reps together, get Dest back in form, back defending like he should be. It's not a bad back four.
And some of that's got to come down to Poch and just the message he's sending, that cohesion, making sure there's not as many breakdowns in the press, which was also an issue in that match as well. It's just disastrous. Okay, let's move it forward, Mike, to the midfield.
You talk about breakdown in the press. A player who looked broken down and that's back-to-back poor performance from Tyler Adams. I need a big boy pants, Tyler. I need a big boy performance from Tyler Adams. He's my pick to still be one of the captains of the team. He is a leader, and he is maturing before our eyes in the Premier League. I need that Tyler Adams to show up. He needs to be more consistent in possession, but it's outside of possession. It just looked like he was taking too long to make decisions on the ball. Very uncharacteristic.
Totally his fault?
Yes, some of it was his fault, but this is why you need a midfield partner that's going to get the ball off of him and want the ball all the time. And Luca De La Torre, that's my pick to get in there. Sebastian Berhalter, he's in there to cover ground, but he's a dead ball specialist. We've seen enough of Sebastian Berhalter. We saw him in the Gold Cup. We saw him get many minutes in the previous match against Korea, but now I've always liked Luca De La Torre. If you need a stabilizing factor in midfield, he's your guy. But Christian Roldan is the player that I'm going to pick to start in this match alongside Tyler Adams. Christian Roldan, when he came in, I saw more forward passes than I saw from any other midfielder in there. And I said this before with Tom Scoops. He is the best deep-lying playmaker in Major League Soccer right now. If Poch is going to use this window to give MLS players a chance, go with the guy that put Inter Miami in his back pocket in the Leagues Cup. It's his time to rekindle his national team career.
I like that shout. Yeah, he's in good form. He's confident. You're right. I think he did make a good impact when he came in. And if you think he can take the load off of Tyler Adams, which for me he was late to everything, difficulty getting the ball off his foot because they were such a mess on the ball. It seemed like everyone was kind of hiding from him. And in that sixth position, you need people that want to be on it. So if Roldan's that player, I like it.
I do like him as a partner for Adams. We do need a deep lying player beside Tyler because that is not his strength. You could see South Korea wanted him to have the ball. Both the movement off the ball wasn't good and his decision making on the ball wasn't good. But Christian Roldan, a player like that who can dictate the pace of the game, will get it back, change it. That's what we don't have. That's what we haven't seen is someone who's going to keep the play ticking over, keep it moving. It was so slow, so plodding. It's like pass it back, pass it across.
So I mean, I felt everyone was hiding.
Maybe hit a long ball because we're pressured. Get the ball moving, and Christian Roldan can do that.
Yeah, he does it for Seattle, and he does get the ball to the right people. One of his first things that he did is we're going to go to the forward lines and who's going to play attacking midfield and such. He got the ball to Christian Pulisic. As soon as he came in, it was on a half turn and then boom, broke the lines, and that told me that he's ready to step in there. Now, I know that Diego Luna didn't have his best performance, and I actually think that we're going to see take 2 of Diego Luna in that number 10 position. And he's going to be a number 10, but he's going to have the freedom to interchange with Christian. And you need fluidity because a good Diego Luna and a good Christian Pulisic unlocks an even better Timo Weah. Timo Weah, I know there's a lot of injury concern with him. Poch said he went down with a cramp, so if he's fit, he will start. But if he's not able to go, how about Alex and Dejas? Yeah. Alex and Dejas is a good option, but this is a U.S. side that you need Luna, you need Christian Pulisic in support of the main man up top, who we're going to get to in a bit. But what are you guys looking forward a bit more from this front three?
You need Pulisic on the ball. You need him not having to track back to get on the ball so much and do so much work to then move it forward. He needs it in prime positions where he's running with the ball, facing forward already. Then he can shake a bait, get in front of goal. And I think we truly didn't see much of him in the last match. I think South Korea did a really good job of negating getting the ball to him, but he needs that workload off of him deeper in the pitch. That's where he shines, is when he gets it up into the attacking third and he can be creative.
Yeah, I want to point something out before we get to you, Aaron. Timo Weah played on the left. We've seen this a couple of times.
I like the switch.
Thank God. I hope we see this on the right because look, this is what we've had at the World Cup. Yeah. I said certain things do not change when they've had success. That is a national team staple with this core group. And Christian needs to play on the left if he's not going to play in the middle. And I actually like Christian on the left when it comes to the national team because he's going to drift out wide anyways. Yeah. And that freedom with Luna, that's going to unbalance a potential Japanese back three.
Yeah, they didn't look confident. They didn't look in sync, the front three. They didn't look like there was any sort of understanding. But I do like Tim Weah on the right side, especially combined with Serginho Dest. Tim Weah, we know his work rate. We know his ability to track back and forth, especially when you have such an attacking right back like Dest, and they have such a good understanding. They know how to interchange. They know how to cover. I like Diego Luna through the middle as well because of what you said. Christian Pulisic likes to drift, and Diego Luna can drift out wide as well. We can have that little interchange and interplay.
Yeah.
Crazy how much of this just comes down to continuity. That's like the underlying theme of this conversation. Okay, now for the debate of the strikers. Josh Sargent got the start, but Flo Balogun was way more impactful during his limited minutes.
Is this a debate? There's no debate in what we saw from Flo, and I loved what I saw from Flo because there was a bite to his game. There was an intensity, and you're going to get that intensity. And I said this in one of my keys to success or recipes to success going into the preview of this Korea game was feed the front line. Josh Sargent, it was too predictable in wanting the ball to feed, and we get to cover the championship, and he gets a lot of service to feed. Not enough running in behind. Yeah. When you're playing against a team like a Japan who will press you at times, Korea pressed the U.S. team in the second half. You need someone offering something beyond the back line.
Even if it's I'm checking and everyone's going to step, and then you make that run. Yeah. That space is going to be there.
And it was unfortunate that he didn't get the goal because I thought he was deserving of a goal, and it's down to the Korean goalkeeper who made a triple save on Balogun. Yeah. But he's the guy. He's number one in the power rankings for strikers in the U.S. team with that mini cameo. Now he needs to put it all together in 90 minutes.
The dynamism I saw in terms of Balogun versus Sargent in that match was stunning. It immediately, the pace ticked up, the chances started to be created. He was popping into spaces. He was popping in behind. We need a well-rounded forward in this U.S. men's national team. We can't just have a poacher because the service is not good enough. Josh Sargent is a fantastic finisher, but that's not necessarily what we need in this team. We need someone who can play in the half spaces, who can check in, who can run in behind. Balogun is that. When he's on, he is a fantastic striker, and we need him again to be on with this team.
Do you think that there's still a role for Josh Sargent on this team? Would he make the World Cup roster for you right now?
Well, he's going to be in that backup role, but there's one player who's not on this roster who I think is going to ultimately be ahead of him, Ricardo Pepi.
Yeah.
Ricardo Pepi offers you more. He's a lot more clinical in the final third, and he's playing at a higher level.
Yeah.
Is it between Adjamang and Sargent to you for the third spot, for third striker?
Haji Wright.
Haji Wright. Can't forget
Haji Wright. Haji Wright is above Josh Sargent. And look, sometimes as a player, if you're not playing, that can be some of the best things that happen to you because no one can criticize you for something you never did.
There's not so much pressure on your back.